In this tutorial, I'm going to take you through the process of installing the Prestashop system on a Debian 11 cloud-hosted server. So Prestashop is basically a freemium open source e-commerce platform that is actually published under the Open Software License. It is written in the PHP programming language and comes with support for the MySQL database management system. If you are a new or existing business owner and would like to grow and scale your business to a global customer base, then Prestashop might just be the solution that you're looking for. With Prestashop, you can personalize your e-commerce website by choosing a custom theme and adding website design features that accurately showcase your brand. For this installation, we'll use the Apache web server, MariaDB for SQL, and at the end of this tutorial, I'll also show you how to install a free Let's Encrypt SSL certificate. I'm also going to be using the Amazon Web Services cloud computing platform, specifically the Lightsail service. But you can also follow along this tutorial with an on-prem, on-device virtual machine or on a different cloud provider. So I've already signed into my Amazon account and I'm now going to open up the Lightsail service. On the dashboard, click on the Create Instance button to open up the instance creation wizard. You can actually change the region and availability zone as to where your instance will actually be deployed. So you can choose from Paris, Mumbai, Montreal, London, Ireland, and a whole lot of other locations that are actually available. So I'm just going to choose Sydney and then click on the, so you just have to wait for the updating options process to complete and just click on the OS only option. Actually, you can use the pre-built Prestashop machine image that is actually already available, but I'm just going to be showing you the manual installation process. So select the Debian 11.4 option, choose the $10 plan, which actually gives you 3 months free, and then on the identify your instance input box, you then need to type in the name of the server. So in this case, we're just going to set it to Prestashop server. So once you've updated the name, you just need to click on the Create Instance button to complete the creation process. Right-click and copy the public IP address of the instance and then open up the Amazon Route 53 service. So on the Route 53 dashboard, just click on Hosted Zones and then click on any one of your hosted zones for any of your registered domain names. So click on the Create Records button, and then we're actually going to set an A record that points to the Debian 11 instance that is actually running in Amazon Lightsail. So I'm just going to set the record name to Prestashop, and then I'm going to paste in the public IP address for the instance in the value field. So once the record has been created, the next thing you need to do is you need to go back to Lightsail, and then you need to click on the Download Default Key button. So this will actually download a key pair file that will actually allow you to connect to the instance via SSH. So go to your downloads directory and rename the key pair file to prestashopkey.pem. So open up your terminal application and change your working directory to the downloads directory. Then run the command chmod 400 prestashopkey.pem. And then to connect to the instance via SSH, run the command sshi, append the file name for the key pair file, and then type in the username admin, and then go back to the Lightsail dashboard, copy the public IP address for the instance, and then paste that into the command, then press enter. So you should now be connected to the instance via SSH, and then let me just clear my screen because there's a whole bunch of information that is displayed the first time we connect. So I'm going to run the command sudo su and then run the command cd /. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to download some essential system updates. So just run the command apt update, and this will then go forward to then download some updates that may have been released after the release of this operating system. And then next, we're going to set a custom hostname. So just run the command hostname ctl set hostname, and then I'm actually going to set the hostname to Prestashop server. So just press enter, and the next thing that we're actually going to do is we're going to edit the host configuration file for this server. So open up the host configuration file, and then I'm just first going to remove that default entry for that custom hostname. And then I'm going to set the host name to prestashopserver.mydomainname.com, and then Prestashop server again at the end. And then the next thing that we need to do is we need to edit the cloud.cfg configuration file. So just run the command nano and then paste in that path that you copied from the host configuration file. And then you need to set the preserve hostname parameter to true. Then press Ctrl O, press enter, and then press Ctrl X to exit out of this configuration file. And then finally, we're then going to reboot this instance for all of the changes that we've made to take effect. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to install Apache, MariaDB, PHP, as well as the actual Prestashop application. So I'm just going to move back to my downloads directory, and then I'm going to use the connection string that I used earlier to connect to the server. And then I'm just going to run the command sudo su to then change to the root user account. There's a document that I've actually written up that contains all of the commands you need to run to complete this installation. And I'll actually include a link in the video description to where you can actually download this document. So just copy and paste the first command to install Apache, MariaDB, as well as some important PHP extensions that are actually needed by this installation. So once the installation is complete, the next thing that you need to do is you then need to edit the PHP configuration file. And in this file, you now need to then set the memory limit. We're just going to set that to 1 gig. So just remove that 128 configuration, and then we're going to set the new limit to about 1 gig, which is 1024 M. And then next, we're then going to edit the post max size parameter. Let me just type post max. I think I made a mistake there. Let me just retype that. So it should be post underscore max. And then we're just also going to set that to 1024 M as well. And then I'm actually going to edit the upload max file size parameter. So I'm also then going to edit that and set it to 1024 as well. And then finally, you then need to also make a change to the date.timezone parameter. So I'm just going to set that to UTC. So let me just look for date.timezone. And then you can, first you actually need to uncomment that option or parameter. And then you need to set that to UTC. So once you've actually done all of these configuration changes, press Ctrl O, press enter, and then press Ctrl X to exit out of that file. And then we then need to restart the Apache web server. So just run the command systemctl restart Apache 2. And again, you then need to then check the status of the Apache web server just to be sure that the service is actually running after the changes that we've actually made. So just run the command systemctl status Apache 2. And as you can see, the service is actually still running. So next, we're then going to kickstart the MySQL secure installation script. So just type that in, enter current password, just press enter. Switch to Unix socket authentication, just type in no, change password no, and then the other prompts you just need to type in Y, press enter on each prompt. And then once that's done, we're then going to connect to the MySQL shell. So just copy and paste that command to then connect to the MySQL shell, and we're then going to run that command to create a database. So actually going to be creating a Prestashop database, and then the next command is to create a user. So this user is going to have access to this database, and this is the user that we're actually also going to configure within the Prestashop web application. So just press enter on that command, and then you then need to flush privileges and exit out of the MariaDB shell or MariaDB monitor, whatever you might like to call it. So once the database creation process is complete, we're actually then going to download the Prestashop web application files. So just copy and paste that command and press enter. Okay, so once the download is complete, we then need to extract this file. So you're just going to use unzip to unzip the file that we've just downloaded. So let me just check if the file is there, and then let me just clear my screen, and then I'm actually then going to unzip the Prestashop archive zip file. And next, you then need to then rerun the unzip utility and extract the Prestashop files to the HTML directory. So the extraction is actually now in progress. Once the extraction is complete, you then need to change the owner of the Prestashop directory to the default user that Apache uses actually. And then you then need to set the permissions to 755 for all of the files that are Prestashop related. And then next, we're actually then going to create a virtual host configuration file. So in this file, I'm just going to paste in the default configuration that I actually came up with earlier. So I'll also include this configuration in the link below. And you just need to change certain parameters to the domain that you're actually using. So I'm just editing a few parameters here. And then once you've actually edited those parameters, press Ctrl O, press Enter, and then press Ctrl X to exit out of this configuration file. And then we're then going to activate the rewrite configuration, and then we're then going to restart the Apache system service. So just paste that in, and then we actually need to tell Apache of the existence of the Prestashop virtual host configuration file. So just run the command A to en site Prestashop. So we've actually just told Apache of the existence of that site, and then again we're going to restart the Apache system service. So let me just run another check just to ensure that the Apache system service is actually still running after all of these changes that we've actually made. And as you can see, the service is actually still running. So the next thing that we're actually going to do is we're going to then open the Prestashop web-based dashboard and complete the post-installation setup wizard. So what I need you to do is to open up a new browser tab. But before we do that, I just need to make a quick change to the A record that we created earlier. Because before it was just Prestashop, so I'm actually just setting it to Prestashop server. So let me just open up the Prestashop dashboard, and then on the welcome screen, you need to select your language and then click on next. So you need to agree to the license agreement and then click on next. And then on the information about your store page, you then need to set your shop name. You then need to choose your main activity. I'm just going to choose computers, hardware, and software. And then I'm then going to choose to install some demo products, choose my country, and then you then need to set a first name. So let me just set it to administrator. And then I'm going to type in an email address. You need to make sure you type in an address, an email address that you actually won't forget. And then you then need to then click on next. Okay, so on the configure your database page, you then need to type in the database name. Let me just refer back through the document that I actually used for the installation. So you just need to copy the database name, the database username and password, and then click on test your database connection. So you should get a database is connected response, and the installation is now in progress. So this should not take more than 10 minutes, just depending on the performance of your server. But if the performance of your server is good, it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes for you to complete the installation. So as you can see, Prestashop actually won't allow you to log into the dashboard if you haven't removed the installation folder. And this is actually what the storefront will actually look like. So let me just delete the Prestashop installation directory, and then I'll then also show you how to install a free Let's Encrypt SSL certificate. So you need to reconnect to the server via SSH, and that's the command you need to run that I'm actually copying now to remove the Prestashop installation folder. And then you then need to install certbot by copying and pasting that command. And then finally, you then need to then issue out the SSL certificate. So there's another command that you need to run for you to then request for a certificate from certbot. So I'm just waiting for the installation to complete, and then once it's actually done, I'm then going to paste in the command to request for the certificate. So it's asking for an email address, so I'm just going to type in my email address and then press enter. And then you need to agree to the terms of service. Just type in Y and press enter. And then you just need to type in yes again. So let me just type in Y and press enter. So as you can see, it's actually now requesting for the certificate for the domain that we've actually specified. So once the certificate request process is complete, the next thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you open up HTTPS port 443. So you just add a new rule, and we're actually going to set that to HTTPS and then click on the create button. So once you have that rule opened up, you should then be able to access the site via HTTPS. So that's been it, guys. I hope this tutorial has been informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.